Most people who have gone to Sunday school or who have even a very basic knowledge of Bible stories probably know the story of Noah and how he built an ark to save his family from a flood that came upon the world. In 1 Peter 3:20 and 21, Peter says that the ark symbolizes baptism. It's a strange, in some ways a strange link to make between the ark and baptism. But when you think of it, Noah and his family were saved through the ark, and baptism is all about us being saved from God's wrath and God's judgment. However, Peter goes on to explain that it's not the water itself that saves us. It's not that our bodies are washed and because of this physical water washing us that we are saved. He says that it's the pledge of a good conscience towards God and that we are saved by the resurrection of Jesus. When it comes to baptism, some people can get some very mystical ideas about what actually happens. They can think that there's something special about the water that people are baptized in, that it kind of becomes like holy water. I can remember many years ago being at a baptism service where someone had brought some water back from the River Jordan in Israel, and they decided to add that to the baptism pool just before people were baptized. I don't know if they thought that water from the Jordan River had some sort of magic or spiritual properties. I guess they thought that since Jesus baptized people in the Jordan and John the Baptist baptized people in the Jordan, that there was maybe something just a little bit special about it. But again, when we read the New Testament, there's nothing like that whatsoever. In fact, Paul even says at the beginning of 1 Corinthians that he only baptized a few people, and that baptism isn't some sort of magical thing. It's not the be-all and end-all, but it is what it symbolizes that's important, because baptism does symbolize, it shows, it demonstrates that something has happened in our hearts, that an inner change has taken place, that there's the pledge of a good conscience towards God. In other words, baptism shows that something has happened inside us that's changed the way that we think and feel and has changed our relationship with God. And of course, baptism also shows that we are saved through the resurrection of Jesus Christ, because not only did our old person die, our old self die, and not only was our old self buried with Christ in baptism, but we have been raised to live a new life. So if you're thinking of being baptized and you're wondering what it's all about, I simply want to say to you that baptism isn't something that's magical. There are no magical or particularly spiritual properties about the water in which we baptize people. It's not some sort of a mystical experience, but it is a demonstration on our part of our faith in Christ, and it is also a demonstration of what God has done for us in Christ through Christ's death, burial, and resurrection.